This is Thursday, the 18th of January's video diary of a year in a motorhome. Might be a few swear words in this one. Oh man, every day is a school day at the moment, because I'm coming into all these months, these weeks, these months, these seasons for the very first time. Wow. This morning it all kicked off. So it's cold, like proper cold at the moment. I woke up this morning and inside the motorhome it was -4 degrees C. So I went to turn on the heating and I got an error message, and then the error is something about the glow plug or the sensor or something like that. Now, a couple of months ago I was travelling around Shropshire. This was just when I had the diesel heater fitted. I got the same error, and I basically worked out that because the heating pipes are all connected from the original onboard heater, which is gas or electric, electric if you're plugged in, gas whenever. All the pipes are connected, basically, same piping system as well as the diesel heater. I just when the diesel heater first wouldn't work and it was -2 degrees C in the motorhome, I put the gas heater on. I'd actually forgotten to turn off the diesel heater, and after a few minutes the diesel heater just came on. I was like, what the fuck? So I basically worked out that the gas heater was pushing enough heat into the diesel heater kind of housing to get the diesel heater up to the minimum temperature it needs to operate. So this morning that happened, I got the error. I was like, all good, I'm totally on it. So what did I do? I drove. Oh yeah, because I went, had a meal out last night, and where I parked I didn't bother to turn on the gas because I knew I was going to drive to a spot near Studleigh Church. So I drove to Studleigh Church this morning, got parked up, then I put the gas on, then the gas heated up. The diesel heater, exactly as it all worked before. So that was that previously was a new school day. But today it was like, yeah, I'm on it. I know exactly what's going on. And then I started getting errors from the battery. So the battery app. So the battery is a lithium-ion battery by Renogy. It's got like a Bluetooth sender, so I've got the app on my phone, so I can basically see what's going on with the battery through the Bluetooth app on my phone. And I'm getting these errors. Basically, I can't exactly remember what the errors are, but basically it's gone into safety mode, protection mode, because the battery's too cold. When I bought the battery, I bought the version with the self-heating option. Now, I imagine it self-heats. The details on the website basically say that it needs a current of 4 amps. So I'm thinking, okay, well, it's just going to use 4 amps, obviously continuously, until it's warmed itself up of its own charge. So I'm looking at the app, got this warning coming on, and there's a bit, you can see all the details of the app, and it's saying self-heating mode off. I'm like, what the fuck? It should come on at 5 degrees C, and the battery was -2 degrees C. So I'm like, what the shit in myself? I'm just got basically I've got. I'll show you what I've got now. I've got this is going to be my night setup, or my setup when I can to help the battery stay as close to temperature in the motorhome as possible. So anyway, I'm in there dicking about with stuff. I have no idea what I'm doing. This is all new to me. And then I'll try and get hold of Renogy. Oh my god! From the app, you can click the support section, and you go to this fucking stupid form. You have to give your sales order number, some SKU number. I'm literally fucking in the middle of nowhere on my mobile. Piss off, and they're all mandatory fields, so you have to fill them in to get through to support. So I'm ticking. So then I found out another way. You go to their website, you can just click live chat, and my experience of the live chat at Renogy is they don't know their products. They just have all of the how-to details, and basically somebody asks them a question and they go and look for the how-to or the FAQ. That's not knowing your product. And anyway, whoever it is basically says to me, you've got to completely disconnect it, let it reset. And I'm thinking, fuck off. I am not dragging it out. If you just remember what I just showed you there, there's about 1,000 wires going into the terminals. There's the Bluetooth connected into it. There's the wiring that Dan connected for the external monitor that doesn't work properly. There's all this. It's literally bolted in as well. There's absolutely no fucking way I'm doing that. So on the live chat, I said, this still doesn't explain why the self-heating isn't working. And basically, he can't answer that. So anyway, I'm still on live chat, and he's like, I'm going to escalate it to a ticket. Can you send me a screenshot of the error message, like the warning message that I'm getting in the app? So I'm sat in the cab at this point, and I've started the engine, and I go to take a screenshot, and I open the app, and I'm like, oh, self-heating mode is on. So I'm like, hang on a minute, I've just started the engine. Maybe I need to have the engine on for it to work. And the guy on live chat hadn't mentioned that at all. It seems pretty obvious to me. You'd be like, what vehicle are you in? How are you using the battery? Oh, I'm in a motorhome. Oh, right, okay. Have you tried starting the engine so that the alternator from the engine is charging the leisure battery? Because the self-heating mode needs a minimum of 4 amps coming into the battery. So anyway, I find that out, and this is after a few hours of having no fucking idea what's going on. It's proper cold in here. I'm thinking I can't even use the gas heater, because if you want to use the gas heater so that the element in the heater doesn't overheat, you need to turn on the electric fan. That needs electricity, so that needs to draw from the leisure battery. And then I've got these warnings in the leisure battery telling me that it's gone into protection mode. I can basically still use the battery, but it's going to damage it. If you use the battery when it's too cold, it'll damage it. It'll shorten the life cycle. This thing's like 430 quid anyway. I don't want to shorten the life cycle. Oh my God. So anyway, so I know now I need to keep a closer eye on the temperature of the battery. Also, another thing is when it's too cold and it's in protection mode, it won't charge at all. So it doesn't matter what's coming into solar, it won't charge at all. Although now I'm wondering, well, if solar was giving 4 amps into the battery, I suppose that would allow the battery to go into self-heating mode as well, because it's just the same as the engine putting charge into the battery. So so today was a fucking massive head scratcher. Another school day, another oh my God. I'm like straddling 2 fields. Is that even? I don't even know if that's the same, but you know what I mean. Instead, I'm not sitting on the fence. I've got one leg in one camp. I want just an easy life, and the other leg in the other camp is saying one of the reasons I'm living in a motorhome is because when things are too easy for humans, we consume or do too much of it. We take it for granted, and we don't see the value. Whereas in the motorhome, when I get water out of a river into the Lifesaver jerry can, I'm well happy. I appreciate the water. When I turn on the electrics, because I'm conscious I can only store 100 amp hours. If I use it up, there's nothing else. If I'm not plugged in, the gas, I've only got a small 6 kilogram gas bottle. I'm conscious of everything, and I value everything. But in a house, most people flick on a light, and apart from checking the bill at the end of the month, they don't consider the effort that's gone in to deliver that electricity to the house. They don't consider the effort, the pollution, the chemicals, the toxins that have gone into sterilising water and pumping it at massively high pressure into a house. All these things. So whilst I was pissed off earlier on, that it is the reason I'm doing this life. And maybe it's good I get pissed off, because it shows it's important to me. And it reminds me to value all of these amazing things. So, yeah. So that's it for this video diary. Apart from that, I've had a fairly normal day. It is stunning where I am. On Instagram, I posted a sunrise as a story. Sunrise, I'm basically parked kind of looking towards the old Studleigh Church. The sun rose on the horizon behind the church, and there's this line of orangey, not quite red, but a super intense orange as the sun is coming up. And then you see the sun itself, like this intense spotlight, this yellow spotlight just coming up over the horizon, shining in on me. I love it. It's like it's energy, it's life. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. I also, as part of a healthy lifestyle, want to get direct sunlight. So I don't want to be behind glass or anything like that. I want to be outside with the sun shining directly on my skin and my eyes. It's going to help me wake up in the mornings and go to sleep at nights. So I love it. And I love that it's freezing cold outside. It looks beautiful. This power pack has just finished charging, so I'm going to unplug it from the leisure battery, because then the battery's doing less. There you go. So that's also what I generally do. I run off power packs in the day, such as my phone and my laptop or my speaker. Anything that's plumbed in, like these lights, original onboard stuff, that has to come off the leisure battery sort of live, if you want to call it that. But anything that can run off power packs, I use power packs in the day, so my devices all stay charged up because of the power packs. And then at night, I charge up the power packs when there's no solar coming in to the battery. So that allows the solar panels to charge up the battery as much as possible in the daytime. So it's recharge in the day, decharge at night. However, I'm now considering that if it's too cold at night and I've got power packs plugged in, recharging from the leisure battery, that probably is damaging it if the leisure battery is too cold. So I decided earlier on that as the sun was going down and there's not much charge coming in, that I would start recharging my power packs then. And that's only taken a few hours, so it's just after, it's 8:10 now. So hopefully it means at night that battery's doing nothing at all. There's no chance of it being damaged because it's not charging or decharging. In the morning when I wake up, rather than just hitting the button on the diesel heater thermostat, I'm going to check the app, check the temperature. If it's less than 5, if it's 5 degrees C or less, I'll start up the engine, I'll monitor the app, and I'll check when the battery's up to good operating temperature. That happens pretty quickly. I was actually very impressed how quickly it came up to temperature earlier on. Once it's up to temperature, I can flick on the diesel heater. That can get the... This is all super boring. I suppose if I ever publish this and somebody's watching to this length, they must be interested. If they found it boring, they'd turn off. So then once the diesel heater's on, I'll uncover the battery like I showed you just earlier on, and then that'll help the battery to stay at kind of a room temperature heat. Although tomorrow I'm going to see Dan about the onboard electric plug-in heater, because that's stopped working. Every day's a school day, and I had previously asked him to insulate everything. I think maybe he just didn't get time to do it, but I want to see if I can put insulation all around the underneath and all the sides of the battery, just to see if I can insulate it and keep its temperature up as much as possible. What else? I wish you could see what is outside. You can't, unfortunately, and the camera's not good enough. It'll just show it's pitch black, but it is a stunning clear sky, bright half moon illuminating all of the night sky. The stars look amazing. Unfortunately, it's cloudless. It's a clear sky. It looks stunning, but that means it's going to be colder. When we've got clouds, it's like a blanket. It retains heat. So for cold winter's nights in a motorhome, I want it to be cloudy. I don't want it to rain, but I want it to be cloudy. But that said, it looks absolutely stunning out there. And yeah, started to get into the routine of going for a walk after I've eaten. So I had a nice brisk walk up to the church and came back. I then did 15 minutes of exercise. I'm really loving the Glow app. I've been using the Glow app for yoga for a couple of years now, but I've started to use it more and more because I'm in the motorhome, for actual fitness, for cardio, all that sort of stuff. All I make sure I do is, if I'm going to do anything for fitness or cardio, I put the stabilizers down at the back. Otherwise the motorhome is rocking around like crazy and I'm worried I'm going to damage the suspension. So I've got them down at the back at the moment. In terms of sort of staying safe in the motorhome, if anybody was going to be a twat and I need to leave quickly, I obviously don't want those stabilizers to be down at night. So I'll go out and after this and I'll bring up the stabilizers. So if I need to make a quick getaway, I can do. It's worth considering that. Apart from that, I think that's probably it. There's another really cool tip that I heard on a Huberman Lab podcast about avoiding colds and flu, and it was as soon as you wake up, in sort of respect of adding probiotics, adding more bacteria into your microbiome in your gut, which is a good thing. Get some water, swill your mouth with the water and swallow. So you wash in all the bacteria from your mouth into your gut. So I've got my cup over there to remind me to do that in the mornings. That's a really good tip. I kind of was doing it anyway, but I was doing it. My first drink would be hot lemon water. Now lemon is an antibacterial, and heat also kills bacteria. So I might have been swilling the sort of saliva and bacteria that's in my mouth, but I might have been killing the bacteria. So this way, whilst I wait for my hot lemon water to come up to temperature in the pan, I'll have a drink and hopefully I'll be improving my gut biome, which is super important for overall health. What else? I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, that's it. I suppose the other thing to think of is heat. So just here, let me grab the camera. So this is my night setup. Obviously I'm going to read for a little bit, so I've got some extra pillows. But basically, I've got this a good winter think of the right word, sleeping bag. I probably could get a better one. I probably should check actually. But anyway, this is like a mummy shape where it sort of starts off wide and gets more narrow at the bottom. So I've got the sleeping bag, and it's got fairly standard sleeping bag, I suppose. But at the top, you can zip it right up, and then it's got a pull cord. So you can pull the pull cord so the aperture comes around your face. So that's that. This is what it is, if that means anything. Then I've got this blanket that you can get into that my mum gave me as a Christmas gift. That's really warm on its own, and then there's this blanket on top. So I did have last night I had this on top of everything, but when I woke up it was damp, so obviously that's me breathing out and the moisture through the night. So this is quite a thick thing. I don't want it getting wet, so that's why I've decided to go with this thinner blanket on top, because this will be easier to dry out. So yeah, that's my setup. And then in addition to that, you can see, let's just put this back down there. You can see I've got my sort of buffwear hat type thing, which I'll wear that at night as well, and my fingerless gloves. But I'm basically all in the sleeping bag. Although last night I think actually I was out. The top part of me was a bit warm at the start of the night. And to be honest, -4 degrees C, I didn't feel anything different than 4 degrees C. I think I said on a previous video diary, 4 degrees C, I absolutely know it is cold. I can feel it in my breath and on my face. That's the only thing that's exposed when I'm in the sleeping bag. I was surprised that it was -4 degrees C, I have to say. I mean, it's noticeable that it is just colder. Like if I was to leave the engine on just sat here, it probably wouldn't heat up that much. And if I'm driving along the road, like when I came from the Cotswolds yesterday or the day before yesterday, I'm sort of coasting down a really long hill, and the engine temperature is actually going down even though I'm driving. So it's so cold outside You can't rely on just running the engine to give you heat. Like if I've been driving along and the engine's up to temperature, if I park and leave the engine on and the blower's on full, then they'll cool the engine down. So after just a few minutes, there's no heat coming out at all. So that is how cold it is at the moment. I think we're doing all right. There's another little hack. There's some other vents in the motorhome, which normally I'd always have them open, but there's a vent on the floor that there's a proper breeze coming in, so I do plug that up. I've got that plugged up all the time at the moment. That said, it is super important to ventilate the motorhome so I don't end up with damp, and I do that. I do ventilate. One trick I do is I put all of the windows just on the latch, so they're only open a little bit, and then when I'm going to drive a distance, I'll do that. So I'll drive along for quite a while. Everything will be getting a really good airing. I'll basically get the mattresses down. I'll get the sofa sides off, so the air can really, really nicely circulate. And then I'll do that for a while, and then obviously I'll put everything back, shut the windows, and put the heating on to get the residual heat up in all the furniture and wood and cabinets and all that sort of stuff. So that's it for this one. I've been jabbering for a bit. Check back again soon.